Mhm.
All right, all right. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Hornet Highlight Series interviews. Today we have a few special guests with us. We're going to have a little bit of fun. Yesterday they were interviewed on television on Community Crossfire, and they were all suited and booted, but here we come to be relaxed and have some fun. So, welcome to another episode of Hornet Highlight Series. Here you will find robust conversation about former Delaware State University student athletes, coaches, and students, and those who have made significant contributions to Hornet culture. Today, we highlight two incredible athletes who have been recently inducted into the Delaware Afro-American Sports Hall of Fame, also known as DAASHOF, as you'll hear me say it, so I won't say the whole name again. So joining us today, we have Bryant Eugene Lake and Wayne Newsome Sr., along with DAASHOF President Mark P. Cool Daddy Sills. Mark, I had to give you a nickname, man, because everybody else got Gene and Senior.
Right.
Mark, what does the P stand for?
That was my mother's maiden name before she got married. Her last name was Prescott.
Okay, that's cool, Daddy. Prescott. Come on, baby. I know I was on to something. So
Yes.
welcome to the forum, fellas. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
Thank you for having us on.
You're so welcome.
Thank you for
So
having
this,
us.
you're welcome. So this is the way that we do it here. The best person to introduce you is yourself. So take a few minutes right now, introduce yourself, and tell the people what you want to know about you, and then we'll take it from there. We'll jump right into it. So we'll start out with you, Gino, and then we'll go to Wayne, and then we'll go to Mark.
Okay. Well, my name is Bryant Eugene Lake, but they call me for short. Um, I went to Delaware back in '82 to '85 or '84 season. I'm born and raised in Milford, Delaware. I graduated from Delaware, and I'm retired now. And my wife and I have a retail business that we sell medical scrubs in. And I'm just fortunate enough to be on this show tonight with you guys, and hope to have some good fun here.
Outstanding, outstanding. So go ahead, Wayne, introduce yourself.
My name is Wayne Newsome Sr. Again, I'm like Gene. I'm from Milford, Delaware. I graduated from in '81. I went to Delaware State University. Um, my sport is wrestling. I taught for 34 years. I just retired in June, so I'm just kind of like getting used to retiring and basically doing nothing. I do try to go back to the school and sub every now and then, but I only do half days though. I can't do a full day anymore. I still do coach the kids in track and field at the middle school. I'm just trying to live life and enjoy it.
Outstanding, outstanding. Thank you. And Mr. President, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, sir?
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here with you, gentlemen. My name is Mark Sills. I'm the president of the Delaware Afro-American Sports Hall of Fame. I've been the president for the past 5 years, and I really enjoy what I do, and I enjoy honoring people, and I enjoy celebrating athletes and coaches' accomplishments and achievements. And I also was a person who went to Delaware State University. I went to Delaware State University from 1982 to 1986. So I know these two gentlemen well. Gene Lake was an outstanding football player. He
Yes,
was a
sir.
tremendous athlete, excellent, excellent, excellent football player. And Wayne Newsome was an outstanding athlete, outstanding person, and he also was a coach at Delaware State. A lot of people don't know Wayne was a head coach of the wrestling team as well, and it's a great honor to be a part of the event on April 19th to induct Gene Lake and Wayne Newsome and the other inductees.
Outstanding. Thank you, Mr. President. And so, Gene, I heard you say on the interview, and it's funny, it's crazy. I heard you say on the interview last night that your kids look at you and say, Dad, you still getting awards at this age? So it's crazy because we're all still getting awards at our age. And that comes from that word that we have when we're grounded and rooted in church, it says, may the work that I do speak for me, right? And so now you guys are getting the just due of, or the leap, you're reaping the rewards of your labor. So you guys are doing excellent. So right now, at this point, before I start asking y'all questions, this is where I get to, y'all talk about being retired. I've been retired for 12 years, but every now and then I like to get back in and dabble a little bit into my investigative prowess. So I'm gonna do a little bit of investigative, my little FBI thing, and go back. Right now, I do what's known as a little known history fact. And Mark, I ain't gonna mess with you because you already been through this on another one. So, but I'm gonna try to dip and dab with Gino and Brother Wayne. So, first of all, let me ask you this question first, Gino. As I'm gonna go to you first.
Okay.
So, y'all gotta let me frame it up. So when Gene came to college, he had been to the Army. He's already said that, right? He had been to the Army, and he comes, and you got to think that some of us, I'm 17 years old when I first go to college. You have this man coming in, and 17, if you're 4 years older, that's 21, that's a lifetime. Gene is older than that to us, right? And so when Gene came, Gene was a serious dude, man. And listen, Army, this dude he killed people, right? And so we out there playing and all this kind of stuff. And while we sitting there dealing with Coach Greg, which we call Chicken, Coach Chicken, and crazy Frankie Lipscomb, and all these different things, and everybody going on, and everybody got all these different nicknames. We got nicknames like Kick Daddy and Kick Dog and Ace and Psycho and Mad Dog and Do Right and Big Slim and Thunder and Kramer and Charlie Brown and Gator and Little Baby Khaled and Hank and Happy. We ain't mess with Gene like that. I ain't mess with this dude. This dude like eat nails for breakfast. I call Gene old man. That's all we called him out of respect. We ain't called him nothing crazy. Just old man. So Gene, let me ask you this very quickly. With that being said, when you were a kid, were you always serious, or were you like a mischievous dude, or were you always serious when you were younger?
No, man. I'm not gonna say I was mischievous, but they said I was just funny, doing crazy stuff.
Okay.
Like I said, we didn't have room to roam around where we was from. A couple streets that we can go on, and then we had to be back home a certain time. But for the most part, I was just a low-key guy, did what I had to do, be home but when I was supposed to be home, and so I wouldn't get in any trouble. And that was it. I lived that until to this day.
Okay. And that's what I thought. So when Gene came, I didn't see Gene doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. We was crazy back on campus. I didn't see Gene getting involved in a whole bunch of stuff. But, I got a little story for him. Let me take you back to 1982, Gino. So 1982, it's late in the night hour, and you and maybe about 3 dudes decide to go. Let me tell you about Delaware State campus. I'm a city boy. I don't know nothing about no farms, right? All I know is when we got to Del State every night at 5 o'clock, that campus turned into something that stank. And we was like every night, like clockwork, every night. I don't know, these pigs was like on a schedule. And so Gino and 3 dudes, late one night in 82, decide to go out, this serious dude, decide to go out to the little farm out there with the pigs. And this one dude, who we call C Daddy played basketball. He's from Florida. And so C Daddy gets on the pig, and this serious dude, Gino Supremo, he don't do those crazy. He has this bright idea to go over to the pig and whack him right in his privates. And as Gino hits the pig in the privates, the pig takes off and slams C Daddy. C Daddy got to be 6'5", 6'7". He slams this big basketball dude from Florida into a pile of pig manure.
Yep.
Gino, where does that come from, man? You told me you was a serious dude. What gave you the idea to do that, brother?
I don't know, man. Maybe we were indulging in some drink that night or something. And somebody came with an idea to go there. I said, you know what, man? I know about pigs. I said, we have pigs when we live down in the country. I said, yeah, I can ride them. I'll do anything to them you won't do. So which what we did. We went out, hold up, give me that stick. And I tried it behind there, and that pig screamed, and my man couldn't get out of the way in time, and he ate it. He
Oh
ate
my,
it.
oh my God.
All up.
Were y'all not concerned, Gino, that Dean Hicks would come out there and say something? Y'all just wasn't concerned about nothing.
Well, we was concerned about Dean, but at that time of the night, we knew Dean wasn't about to be coming walking around there looking like Andre.
That's right.
Yeah. Dean Hicks, we used to call him Fullhead. That was his nickname because we had a guy on the baseball team who was real good, close to him, Beaver. James Starlin, we called Beaver half. Y'all know Beaver. Y'all from Milford.
Yeah, we know Beaver.
Yeah, well, so we called Beavers, and my dude, I just saw him Saturday. We called Beaver half head because he was always with Hicks. So full head and half head. All right, so Gino, I'm gonna leave you alone real quick, Gene. Let me pivot to Wayne.
Wow.
So Wayne, nothing crazy, right? I couldn't find nothing crazy about you, and like I said, we were there at the same time, but our paths really didn't cross.
No.
But my source told me this. My source said this about Wayne. He said Wayne was an incredibly smart dude, even way back then. Not only were you good athletically, you were gifted athletically, Wayne. My source told me that you were intellectually gifted. So back when we were playing with footballs and baseballs and basketballs and you was out there wrestling, they told me that you was messing around playing with COBOL and Fortran. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, programming computer programs.
Wow.
Right? They told me you were a bad boy with the computer. Like technology is your thing. That's what they told me. Right?
Yeah, it is my thing. And it all started, I think somebody gave me like a Commodore 64 plus computer. And from that point on, it was a wrap. I mean, I kind of got hooked. I kind of missed the ball because in the mid to early 80s, I was getting on the internet. It was all line text at that point, but I was getting on the internet and downloading programs back in the mid to early 80s. But I missed the boat because I just wasn't thinking, because I should have invested in the internet. I should have invested in a lot of things, but you know, I just didn't see it coming.
See, you were the man. You were the man. So
I don't know about being the man, but
you were the man. You were the man with the plan. So another thing that my source told me, which was I thought kind of intriguing, because they told me that in high school, one of my close friends that I'm still close to this very day, and we do a lot of stuff together. And I kind of went to him, and he didn't give me this information. He told me he didn't know too much, so I had to go to another source. But now I know why he didn't tell me. Anyway, back in high school, you beat my dude out for the state championship match in wrestling. And that's Dwayne Henry. And that's Dwayne Henry from Smyrna. And I was like, Crane, what Crane, which I don't know. Now I know why he didn't want to tell me nothing, right? But here's the beauty of it. Here's the beauty of it. You square off with this dude in high school and beat him for the state championship, but the next couple of years y'all end up at Dell State together as teammates. Tell me what that was like. Tell me what that's like.
It was amazing. You know, when you get to know somebody, you know, when you're competing against them, it's all like you try to think the worst and you want to hate him and you want to do a lot of things. But at Delaware State, Dwayne Henry is a great guy and we're still friends today. But there's a funny story with it. We both started wrestling in middle school, like in 7th grade. And I was horrible in 7th grade.
Right.
I had one win in 7th grade. It was Dwayne Henry.
Wow.
And then it came full circle. We both strived to be the best. And our senior year, we were the best 2 wrestlers in the state of Delaware at 155. And we ended up wrestling again for the state title. So it started in 7th grade and it ended in 8th grade, 12th grade. Him and I meeting again in the state finals to be state champions. So and he's a great friend of mine.
Wow.
And again, like you say, when you're competing against someone, you don't really want to know them. You
Yeah.
want to, hate them because you want to beat them.
Yeah.
And
Right.
we got the Delaware State, man, and Dwayne, man, he's a great person, man.
And you know what, Wayne, you bring up a great point because that's the way that it was in the blue gold game. Like you against all these guys, you're playing against them all year, and then you get to play against them, but you're confined in this one space. Back then we were at Smythe Hall, and it was the same
Yeah.
way. You want to show how big and bad you are, but to your point, and how awesome of a man he is, and you are, and Gene, you are, as well as you, President. My source was Coach Collick, and Coach Collick is so flabbergasted that all of these young men that he had to develop are all doing great things today. Like to this day, Dwayne Henry is on our Bible study every Wednesday night. He comes to our church every now and then, right? So you go from that, I got to get him, to this tremendous friendship. Gene Lake,
Yep.
this Army dude, been friends with Gene 40 some years as well, right? So it's just amazing how God, that competitive force, and then God puts us together. And then we establish lifetime friendships. So thank you. Let's
Yep.
get into the question portion, because I know some people want to know some stuff about you guys, right? So this question is to I got a couple questions, just 3 questions for Wayne and Gene. And you guys can answer them any order you want to. Wayne, you could do it first, or Gene, you can do it first. Whoever wants to go first. It's going to be
Okay.
the same question. And I heard Mark ask this question the other night, but I want everybody to understand and to know. Where does your athletic prowess, your athletic skill, your expertise, your gifting, where does that come from? Who did you get it from?
Well,
For
me.
me, I'm sorry, Gene, go ahead.
Go ahead, Wayne. Go ahead.
From me, my family, I think I get it from my family. They've all played sports. They went to William Henry, and they also went to Delaware State. They were baseball, basketball, and track people. I'm the first one to break the mold and do wrestling. My uncle Robert was a tremendous support. He took me to tournaments that he could. I mean, he did everything for me. He never missed a match. I just think it comes from there. But also, when we were younger, we played every day outside. So the coordination from climbing trees to running and playing sports, tackle football, whatever we did, that helped too. The day they sit inside, but we played outside. So my coordination came from that.
Yeah.
My family backed me in everything I did. That helped.
Yeah. Let me ask you this real quick, Gino, before you go. When you
Mhm.
said you played those sports that we all did, and that's the mark of all of us. We left the house at 7 o'clock in the morning. We wouldn't come back till 9 o'clock at night. Now these kids can't get off these daggone games. I don't know what's going on with them. But let me ask you this. You said you played these sports, but then you were one of the first to go into wrestling. How did that even come up? How was that an interest?
It's funny because I tried out for basketball, okay? And I guess it came down to me and another student. Most of you guys know John Pitt. I know he's passed away, John Pitts. He was the basketball coach. So he had us play one-on-one for that last spot. And this student, I mean, I used to beat him all the time. But this one time he beat me, and I just said to myself later on in life that it was God sent that he beat me because I got to work with some kids through sports or through wrestling that I may not have been able to get with in basketball. So it was a godsend that I lost that basketball game and I walked into the wrestling room and God rest his soul, George Zisman took me in and it was a wrap from then. It was just like nothing but wrestling for me at that point.
Outstanding. Gino, where does your gifting come from?
Well, I don't. I guess my gifting just comes from being out, and like I said, you get out, get up in the morning. We find a little raggedy football that somebody has in the neighborhood, and we basically sandline football all day, regardless if we're injured or not. And that led up to me all the way up until, like I said, when Milford first got their Pop Warner program in 1969, and that's when I started realizing I like this game. I like this game. And I started playing guard and tackle. I didn't like the offense, but I liked tackling people on the defense. And like I said, after a while, my sisters, they started getting into softball. And then I said, okay, so let me go to continue playing my little football. And like I said, I just kept playing football, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed running over people. I enjoyed tackling people. And like I said, after all that was done, here I am now.
See, Gino, you are incredible. I'm listening to you, and you're talking about playing something in 1969, dude. I was 6 years old. I was just getting my sea legs, bro. so that's incredible. I want to ask another question. It's a little bit more serious because as the chaplain of athletics at Delaware State University, and as well as other colleges, Wilmington University, and I was a football chaplain at University of Delaware. This question really, because I went through it, and you guys, I want you guys to speak to this. I want you to talk about the pivot, right? So y'all talk about being young and going outside and playing all these sports, and Wayne, you're talking about coaching and doing all that kind of stuff, and Gene being All-American and all that kind of stuff. Many athletes, and this is what people don't understand, especially if you're not an athlete, you're not in that arena. Many athletes that I deal with are having difficulty dealing with pivoting from being the man in their sport. So what that means is from the time you're in middle school, let's say high school, from the time you're in high school, Gino, you know this, and Wayne, you know this, and Mark, you understand this.
Yes.
You're always on somebody's whiteboard. Right, so we got a game plan for Gene Lake. We got a game plan for Wayne Newsome. We got to account for Mark Sills, know where he is at all times, and that goes into college. But then only 1% of those players from college go on to make it to the pros. And then when it's time to pivot from being the man in that sport to Joe Blow citizen working, these young people, males and females, they go through withdrawal. Some of them get into addiction. Some of them go through depression. Some of them even become suicidal. Some of them have even killed themselves because they don't know how to deal with the pivot. What would your advice be, Wayne? And Mark, you can jump in here too. What would your advice be for those who are, this is what I deal with every day, making the pivot from being that main person in sports, be citizen?
Well, what make it is I said some people fail to take the skills that their sport and apply to coaching. They don't make themselves useful because I look at it as I still have a lot to give to the sport of wrestling or to kids or whatever. So I try to focus on that. We all in a situation. I think just from being competitive, no one likes to lose, but you have to know you can be beat. So taking that mentality and taking it and moving it to helping kids, teaching, or whatever you got to do. That's the way you pivot. And some people don't understand it.
Great advice. Great advice. Mark or Gino, y'all want to tackle that?
Yeah, I would say for something like that that you just talked about, Frank, I would say people need to, who are involved in that situation, they need to reinvent themselves.
Good.
And try something new. And try something that they're going to enjoy doing, and try something that they know that they have a chance to be successful at it. And also, they need to get into Jesus Christ and the Lord Savior.
Come on.
And that will help them if they do those things.
Yeah. And that's huge. And that's huge, Mark, because what I try to tell these young people, and it's from going from playing sports, even to my professional career, when I got into the FBI, and everybody, oh, you FBI agent, da, da, da. Yo, FBI agent, and an athlete was what I do. That's not who I was.
Right.
Who I am is centered in him, right? And if I put all my stock in being that person, well, guess what? One day I'm retired. I've been retired for 12 years. One day I'm not going to play sports anymore. Who really are you, Mark? So that's great advice. Gino, what you got?
Well, I mean, just like what you were saying, I mean, I just kept a steady head from no matter from high school to being an All-American, and then from moving on to Delaware State, being an All-American. And I'm still, like I said, I think the Army helped me out a lot as far as keeping my head on the swivel and not let nothing get me down. Because, like I said, when I went to the Redskins and I released, there were more people upset than that point than I was. And I'm looking at myself as, listen, I wasn't even really supposed to be here. I was playing flag football where they took me off a flag football team and put me in a college football field. So, I just kind of kept my head steady. And right now, I still keep my head steady. I told my wife, I said, listen, when we move to Delaware, there's going to be a lot of people coming up to me. I might not know them, but they're probably going to know me from football. I said, I'm going to let you know that right now. So it's going to be people calling at me. They're not going to say Gene. They're going to say Gene Lake. I always say my whole name. Yeah. And she was surprised about when we go into a store and somebody, hold up, I think I know you. You went to Delaware State? I said, yeah. Said, Gene Lake? I said, yep. So, to this day, I mean, I don't let it bother me that I'm not that spotlight anymore. Like Mark said, the man up above, he keeps my head keeps my head straight and keeps me going.
And Gino, so to your point, and I wanted to stress this out so people really understand. So you go from high school to the Army to coming back home playing flag football, right? Hold on. So let's now here come the preacher part coming out of me. So Matthew 6:33 says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you, right? So this guy is playing flag football, working at Leggett's, a department. This is a Kurt Warner story. This is Kurt Warner. Kurt's working at a supermarket. This dude is working in a department store playing flag football. And Coach Kowaleski, I don't know where he sees you, but he finds you and brings you to Del State. Come on, man. Tell us more, Gino.
Okay. So, like I said, when I got out of the Army, I continued to play flag football with my guys that from the Milford hometown there. And Kowaleski, mind you, I wasn't a running back. I was a rusher. I like doing flags. Kowaleski, I got on his nerves because he could never get a pass off because he never shake me by rushing. So one day he came up to me and said, hey, excuse me, you got a brother named Bryant? I said, no. I said, my name's Bryant. I said, my name's Bryant Eugene, but they call me Gene. He said, so you both? So you just one guy? I said, yeah. He said, I remember you from Milford. He said, man, where you been? I said, well, I went in the Army. And he said, man, you shouldn't be out here, man. You need to be put in some pads.
Yes.
And that's when I told him, man, I'm kind of old to be put in pads. He said, no, you're not. He said, let me go talk to some people. And that's how it was. He went to go talk to Coach Pizicki and Coach Billings. And we came down there and we met. And they gave me a scholarship.
Yeah.
And then I was getting teased by, you remember Do-Right?
Oh, come on, man. I said Do-Right's name. I already said Do-Right. Okay, yeah.
Right. So Do-Right, he used to tease me. He said, that man that took my partial scholarship. He used to rag me about that.
Yes,
he
sir.
said, they called me the administration office and told me they were going to take part of my scholarship to give to Gene Lake. I don't know how true that is. I think Do-Right might have been busting.
We were joking around talking about you collecting Social Security out there, man. Come on, Gino. So one more question for both of y'all, and then I want to ask Mark a couple questions before we get out of here. All of us have some years. We are in the same age range, right around, give or take 8 or 9 years. You guys have got some years on you, and Wayne, you're in the schools with the kids. And Gene, I'm sure that you do stuff with kids, and Mark, I know you do stuff with kids.
Oh yeah.
So every kid that you come across, no matter what sport it is, what advice would you give to that college athlete or high school athlete whose main focus is to make it to the pros?
Well, I would say this. And like he's gonna have to know in advance, just because you're a good athlete, that doesn't really mean you're gonna make it to the pros. So you gotta look ahead about what's going to happen here if you don't make it here to your professional career that you want. You got to get on another path to say you're going to have to do this. Get on that path to say you're going to do this, and not anyone to interrupt you. I mean, because like I said, if you've seen around, there's a lot of kids that go to school and they think they're good enough to go to that next level, but you got to have a backup plan. You got to have a backup plan. Not going to be getting lost in the sauce out here.
Yeah, Wayne, I see you, Gary, speak, but Gino, let me ask you this because you did make it to that next level. Give those our listeners some advice. What was the difference between college and the pros? Because I know it's crazy regimented up there. And what was your experience like during the time that you were in the pros?
I mean, my experience is like that. For me, a lot of the guys, I was like 1 or 2 years off as far as age. Mm-hmm. And the strength wise is probably the only difference between college and the NFL. I mean, if you don't have your body right from the college going to the NFL, you're going to be having injury prone season. I mean, even though what I was told by a gentleman, and it kind of made sense too. He said, "Well, son, you did your prime in college." He said, "So right now, with your age," he said, "you're at the end of your prime. Wow. But wish you luck, and you're a devil and all that good stuff." And like I said, it didn't bother me because, like I said, I wasn't really supposed to be there. I would just thank God that I had the opportunity to be there to see what was going on the other side. And like I said, I mean, the tackles were a little harder.
Yeah.
I mean, to be laughing when I used to laugh. Ace Coleman used to say, "Man, why are you always laughing when you get tackled?" I said, "If you hear some of the words those guys trying to tell me to go down, they try to tell me, fall, man, fall." But in the NFL, you're gonna fall. It's not like you're gonna be like that. But it was a good experience.
Thank you, Gino.
Yes,
Wayne,
it was.
you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate what Gene said. You got to have a fallback plan. I think that people got to be truthful, starting with the parents. I see it now at the middle school level. They all want to go to the NBA. But I think parents got to be truthful with their kids and let them know that, hey, everybody don't make it, but you still want them to thrive and push. For me, with wrestling, there was no real professional. What we strive for is to go to the Olympics. And with me being an All-American and with national titles, I still couldn't get to that level because everybody is great. I mean, everybody is great when you get to that level. So you got to understand that everybody's great and it may not be your day or you just may not reach your goal. But if you have a fallback plan, you can fall back on your plan and continue life and still be successful. Being a great father, being a great husband, all that stuff is success. So you got to understand that.
Outstanding. Mark, did you want to add? Because I'm going to ask you some questions.
Yes, I'd like to add that I try to encourage young people to follow their dreams. Yeah. If you want to go to the NFL, NBA, or Major League Baseball, follow your dreams. But, however, if your dreams don't come true, you must have a backup plan, as Gene said, as Wayne said. You have to have something to fall back on, but you must follow your dreams because it's your dream and it's no one else's dream. But at the same time, you got to have a backup plan because, like Wayne said, and like Gene said, not everybody makes the NFL or the pros just because you're a good player. Not everybody makes it. So you just got to be careful and have a backup plan.
Outstanding. So, Mark, here's the point where we let everybody know what the date is, where the ceremony is, and everything that they need to know. You give that information so everybody can know where to contact, how to get tickets, and I heard you say that ticket sales are going fast. So if y'all plan on going, y'all better make sure that you get your tickets. So Mark, go ahead and let the people know how to do that.
Yes, our Delaware Afro-American Sports Hall of Fame banquet is on Saturday, April 19th at 6 p.m. at the Modern Maturity Center. That's in Dover, Delaware. That is at 1121 Forest Avenue in Dover, Delaware. Tickets are going fast. They're $60 per person or $660 for a table of 10. You can purchase tickets on our website, www.daashof.org. That's daashof.org. Or you can call me for more information, 610 800-2590. My email address, if you'd like to email me, marksills17@gmail.com. It's going to be an outstanding evening, and we are going to be celebrating these great athletes and coaches, and we're going to celebrate their achievements, and it's going to be a beautiful evening, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. I'm really excited to be the president of this organization, and I can't wait to honor these fine people that we have for the class of 2025.
Amen. And thank you, Mark. So let me ask you a few questions before we conclude the interview, Mark. What is, people don't know this, what is the process of selecting the 12 inductees for your Hall of Fame? So you have 4 from Newcastle County, 4 from Kent, and 4 from Sussex. Let the people know what the process is.
Yes, sir. The process is that each inductee has to get nominated by someone. It could be a friend or another DAASHOF member or a DAASHOF past inductee, and they have to turn in an application with his bio, his photos, and his athletic career information, and that gets turned in to either Newcastle County, Kent County, or Sussex County, depending on where you live or where you played your sport. And when your application and information is sent in, we have a committee for each county. You have a committee for Kent County, committee for Sussex County, a committee for Newcastle County, and they decide who gets inducted each year. So each committee makes that decision. I oversee everything because I'm the president, but our committees make the decision on who goes into the Hall of Fame.
Awesome, awesome. So let's get down to real talk, Mark. Last year, Storm and Norman had this networking event was incredible, right? And he decided to honor a whole bunch of people, right? And so, being the president, like you are, me being a pastor, being a quarterback of a team, when things go bad, we take the heat, right? When things go good, we take the credit. Now, I'm going to ask you, and I want you to be 100% transparent, because I know you will, because I know you for a long time. Because if people are crazy, and when you're a leader, you get craziness, right? Do you ever get lashed back from people? Do they get mad at you? Have you ever experienced any sort of confrontation? Because some people crazy, between people that felt like they should have been there and they just want to express it to you.
For the past 5 years, I've had several confrontations, several arguments, several, I would say just ugly conversations. And I have to take it because I'm the president. You got to take the good with the bad. So yes, I've had that happen to me several times. Yes.
I'm not only a client, I'm the club president. Ain't that what Biggie said? So and I asked that question because after seeing what Storm did, right? And then I know there were a lot of people dissatisfied. And then I know a lot of people are gonna have all kind of opinions. But Mark, there's so many great athletes in this state, right? And my thing is, as I'm looking at Wayne, as I'm looking at Gene, as I'm looking at myself, for real, we didn't start playing those sports to be inducted into anybody's Hall of Fame.
No.
So my thing is, and I try to tell people all the time, because I get it all the time. Well, listen, whatever God has for me is for me. I'm not where, that's not my focus, right? If it happens, it happens. But stop being so me-centered. We did what we did because we love the sport.
Right.
And if you love the sport, and I tell people all the time, Gino and Wayne at our age, I tell people, and Mark, I've told you this. I've had this conversation with Mark. I said, if I never get another award after the day, my life has been great.
Yes.
Yes.
My life has been great. I'm not looking for recognition. So I wanted to bring that up, Mark, because I know that people, man, they gonna cuss you out. They gonna do whatever. And like you said, you gotta take it because you're the president. But let me tell you, y'all better back up off him because he got Gino the killer and he got the FBI special forces behind him. So y'all mess around with him if y'all want to. Be right here with him. Last one, Mark. And I wanted to ask you this. What is this organization has a long history, right, of doing great things, longevity and integrity. It's not some organization where you picking some jokers. These are some quality people, men and women. What is your secret to longevity and integrity and being reputable for this DAASHOF? How do you do it?
Well, we have to have people in place that are going to be dedicated and loyal to our organization. And that's what we have in our organization. We have a lot of loyal and dedicated committee members and people who support us and people who have our back. And that's why our organization has been around so long. That's why our organization has been so successful. And that's why people believe in our organization, because we have so many people that support us because they know we're doing the right thing, and they know we run a quality organization, and they know we run a quality banquet, and when they know that we induct quality people, and that's why people support us. Not only that, we honor kids at our banquet. We do scholarships to help kids go to college. That's another thing why people support us, because we are not just honoring athletes and coaches, we honor kids at the banquet, and we help kids get a jump start to go to college. So we award scholarships every year. We've given out over $200,000 to scholarships in the past 26 years to help kids go to college.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Mark, that's amazing. That's amazing, because as I stop and think about you saying that, as you said it, I'm starting to think. In 2016, my son, Frank Burton III, was a recipient of that scholarship, and he went out to Ball State. And I remember him being there. I was not at the banquet because my other son was having another visit up in Temple, but my wife was there. And so it's amazing. I just want to say this to you, Mark. Well done, thy good and faithful servant.
Yes.
You have done a great service to the community, and you continue to do it. And it's not just because you're looking for anything else but to serve. And God is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. So congratulations. Well, I'll tell you what, I've had a great time with this interview. Like I said before, it wasn't going to be all heavy and y'all suited and booted. Wayne, I am so glad that you had an opportunity. I didn't want to miss you on this interview. Is there anything that I missed, or you want to say, any of you, that you want to add? Anything where people can find you on socials? If you're social media people, I don't think Gene might be. I know Gene's on, but Gene ain't around with a lot of people. But anything that I missed, and I'll start with Eugene, then I'll go to Wayne, and then I'll end up with Mark. Anything that I missed or you wanted to add?
No, I think we covered just about everything. You did a heck of a job. I got some other stories that I'll tell Saturday. I'm being inducted when I'm being inducted to DAASHOF.
Okay, let me say this. Let me say this before I go to Wayne. So, being the investigator that I am, I did a little bit of research on C Daddy. C Daddy just got the key to the city that he lives in Florida, because he's an educator now. So all of us acting crazy out there. I just saw an article online in January. I think it's Vero Beach or something like that he's at. But he just got the key. So all of us running around acting crazy. We all made a difference when we graduated. All right, Wayne, what you got? Yeah, what you got, Wayne?
I think you covered it all. I just want to express my gratitude for being inducted. I didn't have a chance to meet with you guys the other night, but I am greatly appreciative of this honor. I just need everybody to understand that.
Amen. Outstanding. All right, Mr. President, we're going to cap it off with you, baby. Lead the best for last. What you got?
Yes, well, I just want to thank you, Frankie, for allowing us to be on your program today. This has been a great time, and it's brought back so many great memories. And also, we are looking for members, more members.
Right.
Our membership is $40 a person, and we are looking for more volunteers to keep this thing going for another 26 years or further. And I'm so grateful for all the support we've received all over the state of Delaware. And we are just so happy and so gracious about everything that's going on in our organization. And when we're so thankful, and we can't wait for April the 19th.
Yes, sir. I can't wait either. Listen, we're going to cap it off by saying this, and y'all know it well. Jesus told Peter, he said, after you get turned back, he said, you go back and you strengthen the brethren. So the reason why I do what I do, the reason why I have this podcast, the reason why I go out and I spend time with these kids is because God has been so gracious to me and has afforded me a lot of great things in life. I can't do nothing but give it back. So in this forum, you guys get to tell your stories. Just like I said, Wayne, we were right in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
And I didn't have an opportunity to know you, but now I know you even better. So when I see you, I'm going to dap you up. And I'm going to be like, yo, we did the daggone thing. So again, Gino just fell off. Like I told you, Gino don't mess around. Gino, I'm out here. But thank you all for joining us, and all of the Hornet Highlight podcast fans. Thank you for joining us. This is it for another edition. You guys remain blessed and keep doing what you're doing. And until the next time,